right, we got baseball notes here.
Has it been very, very good to you?
Baseball has been very, very good. Yeah, we've got, there's a lot of baseball going on. Angel Hernandez striking again.
Nothing that has to do anything with the game. Again.
Well, actually, this does. This little piece does. Our pitchers' arms are falling off.
But I mean, it's a scandal more than anything else.
We had over the weekend trois
Unbelievable.
pitchers go down with elbow UCL injuries.
Three of the best pitchers in baseball.
Namely Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves,
Who was dealing.
who's meeting with an elbow specialist to see if he's going to need Tommy John.
Which
he already
means-
had it in 2019. They're calling it a sprain.
Uh-huh.
It's
Tommy
not looking
John.
good. So we have three more pitchers going out over the weekend. And Strider, you mentioned this on Friday. He's the only guy that's been like truly dealing until my boy Rennell got on the mound again yesterday and retired for his first 44 hitters, no hits.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby. Team sucks though. But now you have this finger pointing is now going on because Major League Baseball has a problem on its hands.
Arms are falling off everywhere.
And the MLBPA is now trying to say, don't look at us. Don't look at the players. This is about the pitch clock. Trying to blame the pitch clock for arm injuries amongst pitchers and saying they don't have enough recovery time in between pitches, despite the fact that the data doesn't really seem to back that up at all.
Well, the data doesn't support anything either way. So there's a study that Major League Baseball is saying, but look at this. It's a study from Johns Hopkins University, which, how long has the pitch clock been around for?
A year.
Okay. Can you do a conclusive study based on a year of data?
You cannot.
No. Okay. And that's exactly what should be looked at here is that there's a year worth of data. There's nothing historical to point to, and that the study and the report itself is still being peer reviewed because there's not enough data.
But there is this piece of data, which is probably the biggest issue that's going on here, is that there is an article that MLB.com did where they sat down with Dr. James Andrews, renowned surgeon Dr. James. He was doing everybody's surgeries forever now. Seems like he may be too old to be doing that now.
Probably.
I think he's
I
phasing out.
I think he's in his 80s.
Yeah, he's phasing out of being the guy. But he started, and he went in with MLB.com, and he said, I started following the injury patterns and injury rates in the year 2000. Back in those days, I did about 8 or 9 Tommy Johns per year in high school age and younger. The large majority of Tommy Johns were at the major league level, then the minor league level, then the college level, and then just a handful of high school kids. In today's situation, the whole thing is flip-flop. The largest number of youth is in youth baseball. They've surpassed what's being done in the major leagues. That's a terrible situation. And what he's saying is, he said, these kids are throwing 90 miles per hour their junior year in high school. The ligament itself can't withstand that kind of force. We've learned in our research lab that baseball is a developmental sport. The Tommy John ligament matures at about age 26. In high school, the red line where the force goes beyond the tensile properties of the ligament is about 80 miles per hour. And so what
And
you're
these kids are
seeing now-
throwing insane spin rate stuff too, which exacerbates the pressure on that.
What you're seeing is this thirst for velo, this thirst for spin rate that we know in Major League Baseball is paramount to striking out these hitters that are so damn good. It is trickled down, and you see, I don't know how many times you'll hear the word velo and spin rate amongst little league coaches and youth trainers around, where what the data that does make sense, that we do have a big enough sampling of, is that these kids are just throwing way too hard at too young of an age. And they're throwing too many innings at too young of an age. And the fact that when a kid is 16 years old and he's throwing 90 plus miles an hour, his arm literally cannot hold up because what the doctors are saying is he's got another decade until that ligament is fully developed and matured. And so you can blame the pitch clock all you want. Major League Baseball can try to find a remedy for this, but the fact of the matter is this is starting way before they get drafted in Major League Baseball.
And there's a theory out there from some pitchers that the exacerbation of the lack of sticky stuff is also contributing to it because guys are squeezing the living crap out of the ball.
Ooh, we need get Spider Tack back into baseball.
Tyler Glasnow said that was he thinks part of the reason why he got injured was because he used a mixture of sunscreen and rosin, is what he said he used.
Yeah.
And he used it so the ball didn't feel dusty. It also probably added to the spin rate, but also like it added to the spin rate without forcing a pitcher to squeeze the living crap out of the ball, which you squeeze and put that pressure on.
Yep.
With that velocity, you can feel it in your forearm. Where does that grip pressure come from? It's right on top of that tendon.
This is we're seeing a lot of these pitchers. They're going
their arms are falling off.
And what's going to be interesting is how Major League Baseball handles this, because I don't think there's anything that the league can do. The pitch clock, as you said, there's not enough information on it yet because it's so new in the game. But where Major League Baseball is going to remedy this is, are they going to be handing out massive deals for pitchers anymore? Because that is where you're looking for. The pitcher wants some security. You have, Spencer Strider is a great example of this. He's a year and a half into a 6-year extension that he got a massive extension from the Atlanta Braves. Will you see these extended contracts being handed out because that lifespan is so short for a pitcher now? Because there's no way that their arms are going to be able to hold up. And does the scouting process then start to look at pitchers that maybe they're not, maybe the guy you want to invest in is the guy who didn't throw 90 when he was in high school. Maybe it's the guy that throws in the 80s when he's in high school, and then you watch him grow and develop, whether it's at the college level or you draft that high school pitcher and then watch him work up through the minors, and you see that velocity continue to increase. The big issue, though, is that kids are being taught to throw too hard too young.
It remind me, recent, was it number 5 overall draft pick out of Jesuit? How fast was he on the gun?
I think he threw 101 at the game that I was at. Noble Meyer.
So there you go.
But again, what I also think is that you're starting to see that you want to use the anomaly as, the rule. Right? We were talking about Aroldis Chapman last week. When he touches 100 miles an hour this year, it'll be the 15th consecutive season he has thrown the ball 100 miles an hour.
And yet his arm hasn't blown up.
It hasn't. But people want to use the exception to prove the rule. And that's a fool's game, as we're learning in baseball right now. It's something to keep an eye on, because everybody's going to start pointing their fingers with apparently all their dead arms that are out there. Oh, man.